you are, it's a disaster. To not know your purpose is a tragedy. It's a disaster. To live and not know what state of God you are, it's a disaster. To not know your purpose is a tragedy. It's a disaster. You may tomorrow be gone. Tomorrow may never come. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up to purposeful living now. That in this you will build your soul. In this you will be the difference. In this you will be the answer to the prayers of humanity. In this you will build your soul. In this you will be the difference. In this you will be the answer to the prayers of humanity. To live and not know what state of God you are, it's a disaster. To not know your purpose is a tragedy. It's a disaster. Sunshine, rainfall, half spins, the wind blows, harmony, symphony, purpose. Sunshine, rainfall, half spins, the wind blows, harmony, symphony, purpose. The world is waiting on you. Do you feel free? The world is waiting on you. Shine, oh shine, shining like a star. Oh, shining so bright. Ooh, 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 yeah. You may tomorrow be gone. Tomorrow may never come. So wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up to purposeful living now. And this you will build your soul. And this you will be the difference. And this you will be the answer to the prayers of humanity. And this you will build your soul. And this you will be the difference. And this you will be the answer to the prayers of humanity. To live and not know what state of God you are, it's a disaster. Oh yeah. To not know your purpose, it's a tragedy. It's a disaster. For your purpose is a tragedy. To live and not know what state of God you are, it's a disaster. To not know your purpose is a tragedy. It's a disaster. To live and not know what state of God you are, it's a disaster. To not know your purpose is a tragedy. It's a disaster. You may tomorrow be gone. Tomorrow may never come. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up to purposeful living now. That In this you will build your soul. In this you will be the difference. In this you will be the answer to the prayers of humanity. In this you will build your soul. In this you will be the difference. In this you will be the answer to the prayers of humanity. To live and not know what state of God you are, it's a disaster. To not know your purpose is a tragedy, it's a disaster. To not know your purpose is a tragedy, it's a disaster.
Good morning.
To live and not know what state of God you are, it's a disaster. To not know your purpose is a tragedy, it's a disaster. You may tomorrow be gone, tomorrow may never come. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up to purposeful living now. That in this you will build your soul. In this you will be the difference. In this you will be the answer to the prayers of humanity. In this you will build your soul. In this you will be the difference. In this you will be the answer to the prayers of humanity. To live and not know what state of God you are, it's a disaster. To not know your purpose is a tragedy, it's a disaster. Sunshine, rainfall, half spins, the wind blows, harmony, symphony, purpose. Sunshine, rainfall, half spins, the wind blows, harmony, symphony, purpose. The world is waiting on you. Do you feel free?
To live and not know your purpose is a disaster.
The world is waiting on you. Shine. Oh, shine.
You certainly have to know your purpose in this life.
Shining like a star.
For the world is waiting for you to shine. Shine like a star.
Shine so bright.
So shine so bright.
Ooh.
And when you hear this tune, it tells you we here on the Mentoring Hour, coming your way from 1-to-1 Mentoring Network.
Never come. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up to purposeful living now.
Well, 1-to-1 Mentoring Network have already woken up.
And this will be the difference.
They have been the difference in the lives of many people.
To the prayers of humanity.
And as the answer to many people,
Build your soul. And this will be.
they have been so impactful.
And this will be the answer to the prayers of humanity.
They are the prayers of other people answered.
What state of God you are, it's a disaster.
Today,
to not know your purpose is a tragedy, it's a disaster. So wake up, wake up.
yes, we are already awake. Yes, we are already awake. And it is 14 minutes past 9 a.m. here in the United Kingdom. And we are already awake. We are here once again on the Mentoring Hour, coming your way from 1-to-1 Mentoring Network. Today, it promises to be very, very interesting as well. About a month ago, we had Dr. Susan and Dr. Okay, I'll remember the name. One of my favorite doctors, yes. And they were here to teach us about discipline, being very, very proactive at the workplace, among other things. Today, it's all about Black excellence and well-being. Black excellence and well-being. Uh, well, when I read it, I assume it was in line with the Black History Month. So I'm very certain our guest today will tailor it very well with what we just celebrated as per the Black History Month. So today we have two wonderful doctors as well to take us through this topic. We have Dr. Susan OZER. Yes, she is the CEO, the founder of One-to-One Mentoring Network. And we have Dr. TAKON as well with us. Dr. Susan, we know her. Dr. TAKON, we've had her before. So we know them. So we jump straight into business by welcoming them, and then we hit the ball rolling. So, Dr. Susan, good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear
Oh,
you.
great. Great.
Can you hear me too?
Yes, loud and clear.
Loud and clear, right? So let's
Yes.
see if Dr. Takon can also hear us. Good morning, Dr. Takon.
Good morning, Papa. Yes, I can
Ah,
hear you.
yes. Good. I can hear all of you very well. Nice and clear. And I'm very certain our listeners can also hear you very, very, very well. Now, we begin straight away. Dr. Susan, Black excellence and well-being.
Mhm.
Black excellence and well-being. What is that all about? What is it all about?
Yes, good morning. So thank you so much once again. As usual, I really love coming to your show, and thank you also for hosting us. You've been hosting us for 5 years, I think. Yes, and also I want to say also a big thank you to Dr. Takon for being part of the show as well. I know how Saturdays can be very busy. So coming back to this topic, we know that it's been just very recently Black History Month. So we had a think about, as a one-to-one mentoring network, what will be a befitting topic to discuss, so this can benefit our community. And we thought we'd look at Black excellence, and not just look at Black excellence, but also look at well-being. So it's about people in our community, from the Black and minority ethnic community, or even any underrepresented groups, and the sort of pressures that you can have in the process of basically just even merely progressing through your career, trying to excel, trying to do very well. And I think what Dr. Takon and I want to highlight is the well-being aspect of that journey of progress. So it's basically highlighting the fact that despite the fact that, yes, we are progressing, we want to excel in our career, excel in our other endeavors, it's so important to take care of our health. Dr. Ivy likes something that she likes to say, and I'm sure Dr. Taco knows this, Papa, you know this, work-life balance. So it's about having a conversation about how you can excel, how to do it, why it's important to excel. I'm sure most of us are doing it in our own way, but at the same time, ensuring that whilst we're doing this, we are also taking care of ourselves. So in essence, this is what, and hopefully this encapsulates what we want to discuss this morning.
Beautiful. It must be a tall order. I thought we were going to pay homage to the very ones who have done so much from the black race over the time past. But as you have just rightfully stated, well, we have to look after ourselves. We have to recognize the very ones who are doing very well now, and most importantly, take care of our health as well. So I'll shift to Dr. Takon, and then we begin rolling right away. So, Dr. Takon, how are you once again?
I'm fine, Papa. Good morning.
Good
Lovely
morning.
to see you again.
Yes, yes, lovely to see you too. So now, black excellence, right? I love recognition. So, are there any um, members of the black community that we need to recognize for their excellence? As we just recently celebrated the Black History Month, are there any prominent individuals? Well, forgive me, I have to celebrate you, right? I have to celebrate you, yes. But do you have any other individuals that we think we should celebrate just for starters in this era that we find ourselves in?
I think there's so many, and I think one of the things I like doing when I look at social media is I get excited anytime I see black members excelling. Recently, the chief financial officer, a lovely Ghanaian lady, was celebrated as one of the most powerful, I'm trying to remember her name, one of the most influential people in the financial sector in Nigeria. She was actually selected as one of I'll remember her name in the middle of this, but it was just amazing, her journey. And what people won't see is how much striving and all that would have gone on into that place. But there's so many examples of top people in organizations. If we look across the sectors, political, health, you look at it, you go to the House of Commons, you see people who have fought through. You look at people like Diana Abbott, who fought through lots of struggles to get to where she was. Her journey, when you look at the backstory of a lot of these women and men, you see that they have excelled, but it has been a journey. So it's difficult to single just one person, but I can tell you that across all the sectors, health, education, politics, media, creative media, you are part of that Black excellence. You have occupied a space in the media, which is doing excellent work in the community. So it's not just looking at the very top, but I think in every sector, there are Black people who are doing excellent things and which are worthy to be celebrated. And they're equally as important as, the ones at the top, the ones who are doing their things quietly but excelling. There are just so many, yeah. But I like reading those stories and just being proud of them because I know it's the journey there. It's not just where they've gone to.
All right, so it's something that we need to tell our children that it is not about the color.
Yeah,
It's not about the color. We need to rise to the occasion as well.
yeah.
Many a time when it gets to Black History Month, that is when we get to know many of the discoveries and inventions that was put together by the Black race. We hardly hear so much of that, but the Black race has also contributed their bit
Oh,
to
yes.
making life much better, right? Much better. Then let's go straight into our well-being. So important. Work-life balance, well-being. When Dr. Susan was talking, when she said well-being, she just made reference to health. Is our well-being only related to our health?
When we look at well-being, you have to look at it as the 360-degree wheel and spoke, the wheel and spoke. So you are a wheel in the middle, somewhere central, and then you have all these radiating spokes, lines going out. That makes you a whole person. So it's not just, if we look at health in general, it looks at how we define health. We're not just looking at your physical health. We're also looking at your mental health. You're looking at your emotional health, your financial health, the spiritual aspect of you, which is also very important, and also your intellectual. Yes, you're looking at your social aspect, your relationships. So you can see that health or well-being, if we are looking at well-being, well-being is not equivalent to health. Health is only part of your well-being. It's about how you, as a person, you achieve what psychologists will call self-actualization. You get to a point in your life where I wouldn't use the word you have arrived, but you have some level of contentedness. It takes time to get there, and it takes steps to get there. And one of the big steps to get to self-actualization is well-being. Yes, and your well-being is so many different things that you have to actively seek it. It isn't something that automatically comes to you. Some people can support you in that journey, but you have to be self-aware enough to look at the facets around you in your life to determine which aspect of that spoke should you focus on to make sure that being well and having that well-being or being in that state of well-being can be achieved.
All right. Now I understand it much better. Okay, so it's we being in a holistic state of, being so, I don't know, I don't want to use the word perfect, but we being in a holistic position that we are fit to be able to go about all businesses of our lives. That's what well-being is all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. So, Dr. Takon, how far are we doing when it comes to the well-being in the Black community? How far? How far are we doing? How far now? Hmm.
Well, thank you, Papa. Just to so what I would say is that we've all come from different parts. People arrive, especially here. I'm using the UK, for example, at different points in our lives. Some of us, people have lived part of their lives back in our communities before coming here. And there's always, when people move, sometimes there's just initially one goal, or I want to make things better for myself. So there's that drive, and people come in, and once you are having that drive of just coming in and doing one singular thing or just a particular focus, you find out that sometimes you get driven, excessively driven, and you ignore all the other parts that Dr. Susan has clearly articulated, and that includes your finance, your own health, because you're just driven to just get one thing, make it well, and live this life. And I think that's what's driven a lot of people. And many of us have come to that discovery of balance. We didn't all get it right before. Many of us have had to learn and put ourselves in spaces to learn and get that information on what it means to live a holistic life, and made changes. But we can only do that if we make ourselves vulnerable and go into those spaces to learn, and not just be closed up with our own thoughts that we've come from with our community, and just continue doing the same thing that we've been doing, or the practices that we brought in. And I think that's where a lot of us are, in terms of the Black community, because we interact with them, we interface with people. Some people are just driven to make this money and go and build their empires back home, and just, oh, I'm building this huge project back home, and they work their socks off without actually thinking about the balance of what's that impacting on your own health, your family, your social life, your learning, what have you missed out in your community where you are that you could learn? Myself and Susan, Dr. Susan, are continuously learning. You know, we're continuously exposing ourselves to learning new things. We're learning new skills. Dr. Susan is there continuously acquiring new skills to advance her. We're continuously learning. Now, if our focus is mainly just to keep working to build our empire or whatever, that big house or whatever back home, then we're going to miss out on a lot of things that will get us to that place of self-actualization. And so this is where I feel we are in the Black community. I think we are so closed up. We've got this, a lot of us, not many of us, are so closed up. We've got these goals. Oh, let me make money. Let me work like 3, 4, 5 jobs. Not having time to sleep, poor rest, poor engagement. And then your health suffers. So you don't even realize when you are becoming unwell to seek help, to make that appointment, to go for that health check until something catastrophic happens. And sadly, that has been the case with our Black community. You'd see somebody suddenly collapse and they wouldn't have known that they've been living with some chronic illnesses, which a lot has been due to lifestyle. A lot has been contributed to by the lifestyle and the pressure they've picked on for themselves. Many of them are not seeing the children because of the work they're doing doesn't allow them to actually know what is happening, to supervise the next generation, to impart those great lessons that we should be leaving as part of our legacy for the children. So when the children are going around and making wrong choices, it's also it affects your well-being as well, because you have not been there to do those things you needed to do. So invariably, you spend so many years trying to chase that dream that you came with without allowing yourself to be exposed to learn and to have that work-life balance. Like I said, I've had to learn that myself over the time. The way I came in working when I came to this country is quite a different way in which I look at work and balance now, and I prioritize having a balance to do other things. And that's why people like myself and Dr. Susan have grown. That's one of the things we try to teach in one-to-one mentoring, if I may bring that in, is that people come in there to actually acquire a lot of skills that will help them see things from a different perspective to make them, have a more fruitful life. So I think our community has a lot to gain from being exposed to learning that actually there is more to life and that you don't have to walk yourself to the ground to achieve your purpose.
Thank you very much for that. That was a tall order. And I remember back in time, some of our Black folks, they convert their their holiday at work to overtime.
Yes.
So when is their holiday? No, I'll sell it. I'll come to work. So they will pay me double. Some of them will be sniffing around if there is overtime. And if there is overtime, they want to be in the good books of the managers, so that when the overtime comes, they will be the first person to know, and then they will take the overtime. So I'll ask Dr. Susan, what? Carry on. You carry on.
I think I just want to add this caveat. I think we're not saying that hard work is good, okay? And several in our community, it doesn't even have to be only our community. I know so many people, especially now in the 21st century, that don't do just one job, especially that we have all the technology. Yes, a lot of people do more than one job. They may be going to work, but they may be doing, I'm sure we all have jobs and different things that we do. But it's about what Dr. TAKON is saying, and what I would also want to reiterate what Dr. TAKON has said. It's about having that balance. It's okay if you want to do your 3 jobs, but within those 3 jobs and these 4 jobs that you're doing, what time are you giving for leisure, for the other things, for looking after your health, for checking your health? because you can acquire all the houses that you want, but if you are ill, you can't enjoy it. I always say that we just need to pray for the grace for health. Yeah, health is so much better than wealth, because you can have bad health and not enjoy your wealth, or you can have wealth and you are so unwell, somebody comes to enjoy it for you. You see. And then the other thing that I want to mention about learning, why learning is so important, and having the time to learn new skills is so important, is that it actually develops, it gives you new brain pathways. Our brains are remarkable. They are not static as people think. It doesn't matter how old you are. If you learn a new skills, it stimulates new brain pathways. Yeah, so people who learn a language, they learn a music. I know that very recently I've been teaching myself a lot of artificial intelligence, using AI tools, developing all these apps, going into more medical technology, things that I've never done before, or I've just touched the surface of. Now I'm going into it. And I'm even surprised how the brain adapts. It's so plastic, you see. So we know that biologically that happens. And when you develop a new skill, it can actually enhance your normal job. Your normal work will be enhanced. You don't know how. The brain, sometimes, because there's so much in medicine that we don't even know about the brain. It's all what we call, our brain is what we call neuroplastic. Okay, so when we are saying that it's important to have work-life balance, it's important to put your leisure in there to learn skills, it's not just because you want to just put your legs up and just rest, but some of those skills actually can help you, can enhance your performance even better.
Okay, thank you. You made mention of something that Jasmine it's just put across. You said health is better than wealth, right?
Well, yeah.
I want to ask, what is your definition of wealth?
Okay, so my definition of wealth also is not about money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My
Mm-hmm.
definition of wealth, for me, my personal definition of wealth is the whole issue around well-being. And I'll
Mm-hmm.
bring up, I'll define what self-actualization is. For me, that is wealth. Self-actualization is the idea of growing into the fullest expression of who you are. Period. If you grow into the fullest expression of who you are, that's wealth. Yes, because you are every single skill that you have been given, that you have been blessed with, that you have been born with, that you are going to be endowed with, those skills can come to their maximum potential, and the way will be made for you. And ways, wealth is all about connections and ways that are made for you, about networking. So once that comes, the wealth will come. And wealth is not just money. You remember when we were talking about work ethic the last time, I was very clear that people define wealth as finance. Wealth is more than that. Wealth is legacy. Legacy. That is wealth. Wealth is your self-actualization, who you are, how you also impact on people, your community, the sort of legacy you leave for people. That is wealth. That's my definition of wealth.
Thank you very much. So in that case, we may perhaps have to modify that statement that health is better than wealth. So we can possibly say health is better than just money. Because well, as you've rightly explained, wealth means a lot, and your health is even your wealth.
Yeah, it's part of
Yeah.
it. It's your health is how, my favorite terminology. Your health
Mm-hmm.
is one of the currencies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But part, I think maybe the wealth, we've expanded on the definition of what we think wealth is. And I think it's about how people think about wealth. And this is the discussions we have. It's also to help people, to let people expand their mind and reflect on, actually, Dr. Susan and Dr. Dr. Susan and Dr. INYANG are talking about something wider than just, but I know where Dr. Yasmin is coming from, in the sense that a lot of people equate wealth with finance. And I think Dr. Yasmin is coming from that. And I agree very 100% with that like what Dr. TAKON was saying, Dr. INYANG was saying, then you can work your 5-6 jobs and you get all this money, but if you don't take care of your health, then that wealth you cannot have it. So if we are using wealth as a physical currency, which a lot of people understand, then yes. But if we are using wealth and expanding it beyond a physical currency, then yes. Yeah. And for example, Dr. Ivy is saying your health is your wealth. So that is a currency. So people, we all different currencies of well-being and wealth is what is being discussed here.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Dr. Takon, you want to add something to that?
Yes, I want to add something. Being a true African as well, in my place, there's a proverb that says that it's almost like they say your community, your social community, is part of your wealth. And they say that sometimes when people are in situations where there's nobody that is around them, these people might be rich people, they might have had a lot of things, but it's actually, you compare that person who maybe has had a loss or a bereavement or something, and there's hardly anybody around them despite their huge capacity. And then you see the other person who doesn't have anything, no way like the other person, but has been a giver, has been somebody loved by the society, has impacted on the people around them. And you see the people that rally around them, and you see the love and the outpouring. They're two different people. And that's what Dr. Susan is trying to emphasize, that its wealth is not just your money. That person there would have lived a better life, a happier life, despite the fact that they didn't have as much wealth as the other person. So in my place, they say it in my language, but people, having a network, a social network is part of your wealth. And I think that's one of the things that we need to be. So when we have these opportunities to have leisure, to interact with people, to network, to spend time outside our usual solo work, that we're building capacity, because not only are we improving that social aspect, which we cannot quantify. There's a lot that happens. There's lots of hormones that are released to help our own health during that process, but we are also expanding our learning as well. And there's a lot of physiological changes that happens by opening ourselves out and networking and being in the company of people that we learn with. That's part of our wealth. Just to add to what Dr. Susan is saying.
And
Thank you
Papa,
very much for that. Carry on, Dr. Susan. Yeah, carry on.
Just picking up on the social aspects and the community aspect, it just brings me back to an amazing definition of Black excellence. Yes, and it says that Black excellence is not just about individual achievement, but it's about collective empowerment. It's not about individual achievement. It's about collective empowerment. That is wealth. For us to be a community where we can thrive and grow, we need that empowerment. So I can even use an example of the one-to-one mentoring. For example, if one-to-one mentoring was a network that only a few people did things, we will not be in a position to empower our community. It will just be one or two people who cannot do much. But if everybody put their hand to the plow in very, very their own little way, and this is what Dr. TAKON knows. I preach it all the time. I always encourage the network, my colleagues. I always say that, look, we always need to look beyond us. Yes, because we as individuals, we have achieved. By God's grace, we have reached some level of achievement. We are on our way gradually to this self-actualization. We're all on different paths, but by God's grace, we are on that way. But how can we take that little bit of our progress or the process of self-actualization into our community? We cannot keep this thing, put it on our chest. And this is the thing that we need to do as a Black community. We have to look and learn some of the lessons from the other community, people from the white community, people from Asian community, Chinese, the Jewish community. See how those communities are successful, and use some of those examples to see how we as a Black community can continue to thrive. And one of the things that we need to work on is the collective empowerment. Yeah, it's not enough to, when it's Black History Month, to give speeches. We have to walk the walk, not talk the talk. Talking is cheap. My mom always says, talk is cheap, talk is cheap. My grandmother says, my grandmother used to have, my mom told me that my grandmother used to have a particular expression. When somebody is not very a genuine person or flaky, my grandmother would say, this person is hollow. Yeah, we don't want hollowness. We want our community to stand up. And as part of the Black activism, it's all about how do we engage as a community? How do we work together instead of just looking to our own? How do we use not just our family members, but how do we support somebody, interview skills, all the skills that we have? How do we also support other people, not just our family members? So this empowerment thing leads to excellence. And if we don't hit it, if we don't learn it, if we don't encourage it and foster and enhance it, I'm afraid we're not going to excel as we should.
Thank you very much for that, and I love it. It's about collective empowerment. So we all should work on ourselves to that degree or to that point where we will become catalyst to bring out the very best out of other people as well. Okay, thank you very much for that. I'm going to touch on a very sensitive area, and someone may say it's intergenerational trauma, right? Intergenerational trauma. How does intergenerational trauma play a role in our well-being, and how can that be healed as well? I'll start with Dr. Takon. Intergenerational trauma. Oh, when we hear the Black race, I don't want to go into details, but especially when you go to America, the intergenerational trauma is quite huge. It happens here as well. So what role does it play in our well-being, and how can that intergenerational trauma be healed as well? Dr. Takon, I'll start with you, and then Dr. Susan comes in.
Okay, thank you, Papa. So we can't deny history. We have to know about our history and learn from our history, but we cannot be stuck in our history, because if we get stuck in the pain and what happened in the past, there are people who have fought through that to give us the freedom we have now. And a lot of people sacrifice their lives. A lot of people, sometimes we can't deny that pain. I think it would be wrong for us to deny the pain and deny that those things existed. That's why we need to know our history. But that is why we need to build on those things that people who have fought to give us that freedom, what they did. We have to extend it further. So and that's something that should permeate the minds of a lot of us, because I know I've heard it from our community where people get stuck and have this negative construct and never see the good thing in anything that happens in the society where they are, and refuse to engage because of some of those reasons. I've seen people who refuse to engage in many things because they don't want to be mixing with these people that caused them a lot of trauma. I've seen people say, I can't get involved with that, I can't subscribe to that, I can't do that. But what we do is perpetuate that and continue to isolate ourselves and cause a divide. You can only have a voice if you're sitting on the table with the people who are working at. That's how you break the ceiling. You cannot break the ceiling and change things if you continue to be out there criticizing, but you are not sat at the table. Sometimes these people have not had the opportunity to hear the other side of the story. Chimamanda Adichie, who is a Nigerian writer, and I love her because she has broken many barriers. She's been able to bring that narrative of the other side of the story. Many people in different cultures are getting a window into what the Black race is, what people are, just because she's been able to bring that other side of the story to the table. If she hadn't fought her way to be able to give a narrative of the other side of the story and showcase the other side, nobody would know. And now she's given platforms, people want to hear her, she's everywhere, she's being celebrated. But she was able to give the other side of the story by talking, by having a voice. She recognizes the trauma, but she was able to break through. And that's what we should all do. So when we see those people who fought through, women who fought through, men who fought through, I mean, Obama became the first Black president in America. He experienced those traumas as well. He knew about those things, but he fought through. And so many of us should be able to, what I encourage our community to do is not to get stuck in that trauma. If you ask us, we've all experienced trauma of different forms. It's not been smooth sailing for us in our workplaces. We haven't just risen to become who we are. We have fought through those barriers, those traumas, those stereotypes, those utterances. We fought through. And I think we need to see it as a challenge that anytime you hit a roadblock that says you can't do it, that's the time you need to tell yourself you can't do it. And then you network to find out from people who've been successful, for people who are doing it, what does it take to actually break these barriers? We can't become the same person that we are and expect to be at the top. We need some personal growth ourselves. Personal growth includes learning. We continue to emphasize learning, acquiring skills, knowing what it takes to get to that place that you can sit at the table there. You won't do it by saying, oh, they don't want me. I didn't, it's because I'm Black. That's why they don't want me there. Yes, you are Black, but what else do you have? What other skills do you have to actually make you in such a way that you've got those skills that nobody can deny you that sit at the table? And that's what one-to-one mentoring provides, is that helps you to grow as a person, to improve your chances of being able to have a voice. Don't let trauma from what has happened in the past, from other people's experiences, don't let that trauma keep you behind. I'm happy we've got Jasmine here. Jasmine is an example of somebody who's broken barriers and is doing great things nationally. It didn't all start easy. She's broken barriers to be able to get to where she is. So trauma, yes, we've experienced it. Our parents experienced it. We continue to experience it. But this is the lesson we need to teach our children, that if our children see us doing well and striving and making it, they will be encouraged to do that. But if we continue to spread that narrative at home and to our children, they will also continue to have that trauma mentality and find it difficult to overcome it. So I'll just stop there, Papa.
I know you can go on and on and on and on and on and on. Yeah. Because I wanted to ask you a question, but I know if I ask you that you carry on. So I'll put that question to Dr. Susan. Someone is asking, hey, are you trying to say we should stop fighting the war for our ancestors? That is what someone is asking.
Okay. So
Mhm.
I hope my answer here will answer the question. Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Takon. And I think, Papa, this is an amazing, really lovely question. Very important, it's sensitive. I think the way I'll address this question is, first of all, we recognize and accept there's generational trauma. So that's the first thing. You know, there's nothing like pretending that we don't work 10 times harder, or anybody in any country at all, not just Europe, Western Europe, in America, any minority group in any country is very difficult. You know, even in Africa, it may not be overt, but it is there. And we know, especially in our countries, you are connected through families and politics. So those things go on. So I think in terms of addressing the situation, the fact that we acknowledge that it exists, that's why we are thankful about reparations going on in different countries around the slave trade. And some of the things, when you look at the Australia story and the Aborigines, and then there are calls for reparations here. We know there's the story about the Windrush scandal. So these are at a systemic level, okay? But how to address these sorts of things, you have to start from yourself. You have to start from yourself. You have to start about how your mindset is. What's your narrative around all these issues around trauma and racism? You have to have that reflection on being very transparent about how you have dealt with those sorts of things. If you've had an experience overt racism, subtle racism, institutional racism, or you're coming from the family where the trauma has affected, which has affected all our communities one way or the other, but it has affected you, then what I would say is that it is very important to, maybe some individuals can think about a culturally competent psychologist, or who was a psychologist with lived experiences, or culture, just plainly culturally competent psychotherapists or psychologists, because that's one of the things that our community shy away from when it comes to mental health. But there are some people that have gone through very, very deep trauma, and they may need that step of actually engaging with some kind of therapist to address some of the issues. The second step to address intergenerational trauma is family. Yeah, it's about family. It's the family you come from. You as a parent, and how you are modeling language and behavior to the children. So if you are a parent and every time your child comes to you and tells you that somebody was, say, prejudiced against them or racist against them, we have to be careful how we answer our children. I've written a poem. There's a poetry I wrote, and it was looking at a mother and the way their behavior towards their 4-year-old in public. And I think at the end of the poem, I was saying that, just paraphrasing, this little Johnny, how will he at 4? This is how he is. Then what is, if this is happening to him, what will he be at 24? Okay, children will model a parent's behavior. Children will take on their family's narratives. If you come from a family where everything is racist, then the children will grow up and they will say and attribute everything to racism. Yeah, I've had a few people where I've mentored and I've opened things up, and a lot of this has been probably some of their own interpersonal skills that have played into making it very seemingly racist. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but sometimes some of our own interpersonal skills can play into some of these narratives. So the family is very, very important, for the family as a whole to change their narratives, and that can help our community. The third factor to look at is community. One of the community is one-to-one mentoring. How are we, who are, been progressing, are progressed through the community, supporting others? What are we doing in our own small ways, our individual ways, small as well as big ways? If we all are able to put our hand to the plow That can help our community. If we are all very community focused, not just individual focused or just family focused, but we go away from our community. And if I'm saying about community, I'm not just even talking about, we also need to work with our allies who are not necessarily from our community. Yes. We have to think around inclusion. We can't exclude people. We cannot. If we want to grow as a community, we can't, everything is black or everything is black and Asian. We have to include the other groups and see how we can leverage those skills they bring to support us as a group. And at the same time, when we ally with other groups, they also have understanding of how and who we are. And then they are in the position to support us more, because the more of these groups having friendships and relationships amongst our group, then it fosters understanding both ways. A lot of Black people don't have white friends, and vice versa. A lot of Black people don't have Asian friends, and vice versa. Yeah, and so many different, because we just don't put ourselves in the opportunities or in the position to get that. The fourth thing in looking at healing generational trauma is obviously the systemic, the institutions. Yeah, we've talked about reparations, we talk about activism. And I believe very strongly in activism that it's positive. Activism that brings people together, the collective empowerment we talked about. Activism that brings people in, includes people and not exclude people. So that in itself will, once you engage into the systemic, the institutions, this is where then things change. The whole narrative within the organizations change, and it's happening. Yes, it's happening. If you look at any slave trade movie, you can see that people have built and built on the foundation. Nobody stood there with their hands in their pockets. And the people who actually were very instrumental, they were coming from another community. We didn't have the power during the slave trade as a Black community to do anything. It is the white community that brought this thing. Same thing. Yeah, in so many countries, you have those allies, and allies are powerful, and our community need to understand how we navigate getting these allies and include more people. Because the more we do this, the more we have this, that we enhance that collective empowerment within our community, and eventually the intergenerational trauma will just get less and less and less, and that's the process of healing that will come.
Thank you very much. And I love how you both have poured your heart out on this very subject. And as I sat here, I love the other part that you brought in. Black people not mingling with other race, among other things. And it took my mind to a very beautiful quotation from Brother Dr. Ishmael Tete. He says, all righteousness without oneness are decorated malicious evil. Now, so as we are talking about the community, the Black community, building ourselves up, among other things, we should also realize that our community is part of another community. So whatever community, that's the thing. That's the thing, right? So in another instance, he was asked, which of the race is more important or is better than the other? And his answer was quite simple: the human race. That is the most important race. So in as much as we are looking at the betterment of the Black community, we should also bear in mind that we are a Black community, part of another community, and we need to work ourselves out so that our excellence will not be taking us away from the oneness that we all should enjoy in the bigger community, or the natural community that we all belong to, which is humanity, humanity. You have touched a lot on this subject, but we just want to go with some practical steps that we as individuals, I know you touched a little bit on that, but just as you did with the healing, if we can go with some practical steps that we can use so that we can further the ambition of well-being and excellence in our own individual lives. I think, Dr. Takon, we start with you. Practical steps as individuals, and perhaps you can add a community as well so that we'll be able to put them all together before rounding up. Over to you, Dr. Takon.
Thank you, Papa. Thank you for the stimulating discussions today. I think practically from all that we've been talking about, it starts from yourself. Any change starts from you. It starts from you doing a true reflection of where you are at different points of our lives. We we have to take steps. We have to take stock. Where am I? What is my life really like? Because it's not what other people tell you your life is. You know where you are. You know where you are with reflecting on yourself, your goals. Always review your goals. Where are you in terms of, are you where you want to be in terms of your work, in terms of your career, in terms of family? What are you like outside? In terms of your health, you have to think about that as well. What's your health like? We have to take stock. It's reflection. Where are you as a holistic person? Are you happy? Because the only person that can talk about your happiness is you. You know where you are, your inner being. Do you feel that you are at peace with where you are? And then if you have things that are upsetting you and making you feel low, what are those things? And it's a sum total of having a true reflection. Talk to yourself, talk to me first, take that stock and know where you are, and then be prepared to actually step out. Many of us in the Black community, we're very insular. We do not engage, we do not open up, we feel that things are very private, or sometimes we're in denial. Yesterday, I was having a conversation with somebody and said the Black community were very much of the God forbid brigade. It's like everything is God forbid, everything is God forbid, and it was like, the God forbid brigade. Yes, God forbid, but are there things that we can do, we can critically look at instead of shutting down, and the other thing is sometimes we can be very over spiritualize things instead of actually looking at things in terms of the actualization. So somebody will say, oh, something that is even, that you have contributed to it, or, so you can change. You would say, no, it's because of the family. It's an attack. It's a spiritual attack. It's this. We know there are spiritual angles to things, but there are things that we have contributed to where we are and we can make changes about. So yes, you are not there. There's never an end. I think Dr. Susan made a point. There is no limit to learning. There is no end point to making a change. The point that you realize that there is something you need to change is a good starting point. Yes, you may not have started a while ago, but start now. Tell yourself you need to make those changes. We've talked about a lot of things. So the first thing is practical. Be true to yourself. Reflection, take stock. And then 2, begin to map out, what do I need to do? Now, we've heard today, it's not just about financial wealth, and what are those other areas that Dr. Susan broke down that you need to look at? Your health, leisure, work-life balance, your community impact. Belong to a community in whatever form. Expand your community. Step out. Where are those networks that you can form? those networks that can help you and help you to be accountable and grow you, not gossip column. We as Africans, we like talk shop, gossip time. But let's move that gossip time to a positive time, that it can be positive gossip that to help yourself grow. At the end of that conversation, you have helped something to make yourself grow. Look at some learning. What new skills can you learn? You can now, YouTube is there. You can learn anything from YouTube. I've seen people learning so many skills from YouTube, and before you know it, they're growing a business, that they're sitting in their house and doing a business that is flourishing, impacting and drawing people. This year I have joined a few networks and engaged with people I've never met in my life, but they have enriched my life. And I have learned so much from them just by sitting in my house. I've not traveled, I've not moved anywhere. I've been in my house, but I've joined networks, I've expanded my community. And that's part of my wealth. That's part of my well-being and excellence. So these are some practical things that I feel. And then, like Dr. Susan said, make sure you are continuously evaluating these things and having a good work-life balance. And that you are not robbing Peter to pay Paul, but you are actually working positively towards your goals. I'll let Dr. Susan talk on the rest.
All right, and over to you,
Wow.
Dr. Susan.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, I will add a few things to this. Mental health. That's a lot of that in the Black community. And because of the stigma, people are very reluctant to go for treatments, and they tend to say it's all spiritual. We don't say that we are minimizing, because that's part of our culture and that's part of our identity. And I'm very, very much very strong in the faith, but I'm a doctor. I'm a doctor, and doesn't mean that I minimize paracetamol or treatment, and there are real treatments and good treatments for people who are struggling with mental health. You really need to call it as it is. And people really we need to, as a community, overcome the stigma of mental health. Because then sometimes, I was reading in the news how the father of one of the tragedies that happened recently, I don't want to relive that on radio. And he said he regrets that he didn't take some steps. You see, because of the stigma again. And so people are very, very afraid. They don't want the other community to know that their child has all that. They don't want to share, and not sharing means that they keep things until then it just blows out of proportion. So we need to take care of our well-being, but especially our mental health. The other thing I want to mention is mentoring, the power of mentoring. Again, people underestimate how mentoring can support people. Mentoring is not just talking to somebody about their career progress. Mentoring can be anything, helping people to really reach that self-actualization, becoming the best version of yourself we are talking about. And if you have an experienced mentor, they have lived certain steps, they've walked certain steps, and they can guide you. And this is one of the things that one-to-one mentoring does. I want to touch on economic empowerment as well. And so important for people from our community to patronize our businesses. And I'm not saying that exclude other businesses. There's so many of the other businesses that we go to, but sometimes we don't patronize our own businesses a lot. You get what I mean? And I think as part of us thinking as this whole community empowerment thing, it's very, very important to support each other. Everybody does it, especially people from the Jewish community and the Asian communities and Chinese community. I admire them. I have a lot of very good friends in the Asian community. So I know, Dr. Takon and I, we do have one of our Asian colleagues. We always say that she's like a sister from another mother. She's part of the one-to-one mentoring. Yes, and I love the way they help each other, they support themselves. We can see that in another couple of years, a lot of our doctors will be coming from the Asian community. A lot. Already we see it. They support each other. So we need to also patronize our businesses. You know, Papa, your radio show, people need to patronize that. You get what I mean? And then obviously the whole idea of cultural empowerment as well. You know, for example, look at how poets like Maya Angelou and how her poetry has impacted people. And all these things are enmeshed. It brings our culture out. So we need to have a pride in our culture and celebrate our culture. I talk to people because I write poetry. I talk to people who do poetry, but they have actually tried to express themselves. And I've always encouraged them until you actually put one step out. You never know what you have. You have to put yourself out for people to give you constructive criticism, you know, by putting yourself out and letting people through your words, your song, your lyrics, your writing, that can also increase understanding about who we are as a race. Okay, and activism is so important. We are doing some of it is what we are doing in one-to-one with the work that we do. When we come and we speak, we talk, it's all part of activism is not going to burn something all the time, those sort of negative things. This, you know, it is also supporting our community, increasing awareness about our community. The whole idea of the allyship, the inclusiveness, you know, encouraging other people to know about our community and not excluding other groups is all part of the activism. Okay, so I just hope that we discuss some very good points in looking at excellence and Black excellence and well-being.
Thank you so much. Once again, I'll go back to that very quote from Brother Ishmael Tete. He says, "All righteousness without oneness is decorated malicious evil." Truly, truly speaking, we all need to work ourselves up to that stage where we wouldn't just say you are a sister or a brother from another mother, but we will be able to say you are a sister, you are a brother from the same mother. You know that mother, isn't it? We are all from that
You are
origin.
talking about which
Yes,
mother is that? Can you remind me?
that mother is nature. We are all come from
Ah,
nature.
all right. Okay.
Yes, that's mother nature. That is where we are all come from.
Mm,
And from that place, we wouldn't be seeing ourselves as you and me, but we will be seeing ourselves as you as me and me as you. That is where we all need to get to. And from that point, we come to realize that my success is never complete until your success is also achieved,
yeah.
because we are all part of that one body that we choose to call life. And in that place, we always want to be a catalyst to awaken the better self of another person, irrespective of their race, their creed, or culture here on earth. That is where we want to move into. So we begin with the Black community, and then we expand, and then we expand, and then we expand,
Yeah.
and then we expand. Thank you so much for such engaging conversations today. Your final words, Dr. Takon, and then Dr. Susan will give us the benediction before we round up.
Final words, Papa, is again a big thank you for bringing. I think these conversations are so important for our community. We need a conduit to have this out, and thank you so much. And I encourage that many people will listen to this. Final word is for everyone out there in our community. We are blessed to be a Black community in this community. We are blessed. Let's go out there and show the great things that we have, we have within us that we can share with others and bring others around us. Being just within ourselves, people won't know what you have, the diamond in your hand, if you hold it close. You need to open your hands and bring other people along to sit at that table. And the way to do that is to grow. And one-to-one network mentoring is here to be part of that journey to help you fulfill that plan. So wishing you the very best in that journey of life, as Papa has greatly put it. And as we grow together, we wish you all the very best in that journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Susan. Make sure you sell one-to-one mentoring network.
Yes, yes. I think for me, my last words are around the well-being and the mental health. We need to take care of ourselves as a community, individuals as well as our community, because if we don't have health, we don't have wealth. If we don't have wealth, we don't have health, whichever way you want to put it. And that, yes, all work and no play makes what? Jack a dull boy, which is a very old English saying. I think the young ones will probably not know what I'm talking about. So we need to take care of our health. Mental health, please. Mental health is let's not make mental health in our community. Let's uncover, let's destroy this whole stigma around mental health so that our children can get the help, our relatives can get the help that they need. One-to-one mentoring is a network that we embrace anybody. It's targeted at people from Black and minority, ethnic and underrepresented communities, but we also encourage people from other communities to join, because we are very, very big on inclusivity as well as allyship. So you can find us at www.one2 the number 2 one-to-one mentoring.com, www.one21mentoring.com. We have a website. If you go on there, it can show you what we do. And we do very regular radio shows. We run events. There are some lovely podcasts. We have lots of resources on our website that benefits and can benefit our community. So thank you so much, Papa. As usual, it's been such an amazing and inspirational conversation, and we're hoping to see you soon.
Very
for the
soon,
next
very
one.
soon.
Can't wait.
Very soon, very, very soon. Thank you so much for your time as well. One thing that I love about one-to-one mentoring network, it fulfills one philosophy that I work with. It says I have a deposit of knowledge in all of life, and with that deposit, all that I need to do is ask my questions, and I get answers from you. So thank you very much for you
Thank
being
you.
very resourceful in giving us things that will help us to become better versions of ourselves. And I'll encourage you to continue to do what you're doing and even expand more. I love the mindset with which that you are building one-to-one mentoring network. At the end of it all, is what stays behind us when we are gone that matters.
Legacy.
Yes. I went back home some time ago and I saw some buildings that during our time we saw, oh, this house is big, it's beautiful, it's nice. And you see it now and you say, what is this? What was all
Was it the mountains? In one of those places in Ghana that they build very, very nice houses.
Yes, they do. But when you look at it very well, you come to realize that our impact on people is what matters most.
Yeah.
And what you have shared with us is going to be beneficial to all of us so that we will be able to have a change in mindset, not just be thinking of that big house that we want to put up back home. Interesting stories that we often hear. Some people put up these buildings and they don't even get a chance to step in. Mm-hmm. And the unfortunate thing is sometimes you build these houses, some people may go and stay in and they will still call you to bring them money to pay for the utility bills, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very common.
So the black man is always under pressure.
You're so right. That's happening to my uncle right now, so that's why I'm laughing.
Yeah. I tell you, it's not easy. Yeah.
Yes. And sometimes if we decide to do what is appropriate in such instances, we feel that we are not being loving enough to
Yeah.
our community.
Guilt
So
trip.
we
Guilt trip.
yes, we are pulled back one way or the other. So thank you so much for this discussion. It's been so interesting. And before I go, I want to tell Samantha that I miss her.
I hope you are hearing. You know she's in Ghana.
I miss her. Yes.
She's hearing.
She left me.
Hey, Sam.
So, yes. So I want to tell her I miss her. And then
Okay.
I hope you bring
so
her on
sweet.
very soon. Yeah,
Very
you bring
soon.
her on very soon. Yeah. All right then. Bye
Thank you,
bye.
Papa. Bye bye. Bye bye. Thank you, Dr. TAKON.
Bye bye.